Padre Pio warned, do these 3 things with your rosary during Holy Week, or risk spiritual danger. Have you ever wondered if you're really using your rosary the way heaven intended, especially during Holy Week? Most people don't realize there's a powerful, little-known way to pray that Padre Pio discovered, and it has led to real miracles. Let's face it, we've all prayed for healing, peace, or answers and felt nothing in return. But maybe the problem isn't your faith, it's how you're praying. Holy Week is more than tradition, it's a spiritual battleground. Padre Pio revealed 3 specific rosary practices for this sacred time, practices that connect your prayers directly to heaven. You didn't find this video by accident. This may be your divine moment. Today, on the Journey of Wisdom, I'll share these 3 powerful practices. One of them will stretch your faith, but it might be the breakthrough you've been praying for. Before we dive in, comment, Padre Pio, teach me to pray with fire. Subscribe and like this video as an act of faith, because bold faith invites divine favor. Get ready. This could change your prayer life forever. Number 1, why do these practices matter? During Holy Week, Padre Pio urgently called believers to arm themselves with the rosary not as a token of faith, but as a weapon in a cosmic battle. This wasn't just poetic language. Padre Pio lived this truth through unbearable suffering from the stigmata, offering his pain for the redemption of others. He didn't simply like the rosary, he lived in it, often praying it more than 50 times a day, sometimes through the night, lifting cries of mercy for broken families, grieving mothers, those trapped in addiction or poverty, and souls desperate for healing. Holy Week, he said, was not just a season of reflection, but a sacred battleground where heaven opens wide and darkness retaliates fiercely. During this time, when we remember Christ's passion, the veil between heaven and earth grows thin, and spiritual warfare becomes more intense. Padre Pio, in deep mystical union with Christ, shared that praying the rosary during this time could alter destinies. If you wish to touch heaven, he said, pray the rosary during the Passion. He wasn't speaking metaphorically, he meant it. He taught that if you want to cleanse your home of spiritual heaviness, you must pray with humility. And if you long to see true miracles, pray with tears. These were not random instructions, but divine truths passed to him through profound visions, suffering, and heavenly revelations. One Good Friday, weakened by the wounds of Christ in his body, he could barely stand at the altar. Witnesses said he glowed with heavenly light as tears flowed down his face. In ecstasy, he whispered again and again, they cannot endure it when the rosary is prayed this way. Who were they? The dark spiritual forces that torment souls and divide families. And this way, he meant praying with intention, with repentance, with belief not rushing through words, but offering them as fire from the heart. Padre Pio's teachings were never about religious routine. He only revealed these deeper instructions to those spiritually ready, those desperate for divine rescue, and those ready to fight for the salvation of their homes. A woman once came to him in despair. Her husband was drowning in alcoholism, her daughter consumed by depression. Padre Pio didn't just offer comfort, he gave her a spiritual formula: pray the rosary in 3 ways, with contrition, with tears, and during the Passion of Christ. She obeyed, praying deeply during Holy Week. By Easter Sunday, her husband had walked away from drink, and her daughter returned to confession and Mass. That's not coincidence. That's the power of faith in action, of prayer that pierces the darkness and invokes real transformation. This message is more relevant today than ever. Many mothers and fathers live in silent agony, watching their children spiral in addiction. Their marriages grow cold, their households overwhelmed by stress, anxiety, or unseen negativity. Perhaps you felt it too, that heaviness in your home, that invisible tension that robs your peace. This isn't always just psychological or circumstantial. Sometimes it's spiritual. The missing ingredient may not be a new therapist, program, or policy. It may be how you're praying. When you treat the Rosary like a checklist, its power remains dormant. But when you treat it as a sword, heaven responds. Padre Pio said each Hail Mary becomes a spiritual strike against evil. Each mystery invites divine grace. He believed that during Holy Week, the Rosary's power multiplied. Why? Because the spiritual realm is wide open. Peace flows more abundantly, but so do temptations and attacks. As Jesus made his way to Calvary, we are invited to spiritually walk beside him, not as spectators, but as warriors. The difference between spiritual progress and stagnation can hinge on your prayers this very week. As Jesus told his disciples in the Garden of Gethsemane, "Could you not watch 1 hour with me?" A question that still echoes today. Let us not sleep while our spiritual enemies work overtime. As it says in Psalm 20, verse 1, "May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you." Padre Pio wasn't just a saint, he was a living witness to the battle between light and darkness. He gave advice not from theory, but from his soul's agony. He bled, fasted, and cried with those who suffered. His teachings were birthed in fire. And in a world today where stress, financial burdens, and emotional warfare plague so many homes, people often search for quick fixes: how to attract money, how to escape anxiety, how to restore broken relationships. But the advice from Padre Pio remains timeless. Return to the heart of prayer, and you will see signs from God. Not every sign will be thunderous. Sometimes it's the softening of a heart, the return of peace, the lifting of a dark cloud. These are miracles too. And when you pray the Rosary this Holy Week with tears, with sincerity, with the spirit of intercession, you activate heaven's response. Don't let this sacred window pass you by. As St. Augustine once said, pray as though everything depends on God. You work as though everything depends on you. Prayer is not an escape, it is an engagement. And the Rosary, when prayed as Padre Pio taught, is one of the greatest engagements in spiritual warfare. So to every mother crying in secret, every father feeling hopeless, every person asking how to attract money while keeping peace at home, remember that transformation doesn't begin outside of you. It begins in prayer. Not just any prayer, but the kind that breaks chains. This Holy Week, follow the teachings of Padre Pio. Pick up your Rosary with reverence. Let every bead carry your heart. Let every mystery open a door. Let every tear water the seeds of resurrection in your life. And know, as it says in 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14, "If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face, then will I hear from heaven." There is still time. Heaven is near. But the gate opens for those who dare to pray like Padre Pio. Number 2, the 3 Rosary practices for Holy Week. 1. Pray the sorrowful mysteries with bodily sacrifice. Let me speak directly to your heart for a moment, because what we're about to talk about could reshape your Holy Week, deepen your prayer life, and protect your soul in powerful ways. Padre Pio, one of the most beloved and spiritually intense saints of the modern era, left us with a serious warning and a loving invitation. But if we're not treating the Rosary with the reverence and intensity it deserves, especially during Holy Week, we could be missing out on deep spiritual protection and blessings. And even worse, we may be exposing ourselves and our homes to spiritual danger. So let's start with the first of 3 powerful practices he strongly recommended, and I want you to take this to heart. The first practice is simple in its idea, but powerful in its demand. Pray the sorrowful mysteries of the Rosary with bodily sacrifice. Padre Pio made it clear that prayer isn't just about words we say or thoughts we think, it's a full body offering. He believed our bodies must join in the prayer, especially when we meditate on Christ's suffering. During Holy Week, he would tell his spiritual children not to pray while sitting back in comfort, or worse, lying in bed. Instead, he insisted on kneeling or standing with arms stretched wide in the form of the cross. That position isn't just symbolic, it draws us into Christ's agony, and it's a way of saying to heaven, I'm with him, not just in word, but in body and spirit. Think about that for a second. When was the last time you let your body suffer a little for the sake of prayer? This might sound extreme, especially in a culture like ours that constantly chases comfort and convenience. But Padre Pio, who bore the wounds of Christ in his own flesh, often prayed for hours in this very posture, sometimes while in tears, but completely absorbed in the mysteries of Christ's passion. He wasn't playing games, he knew the spiritual realm was real, and that prayer offered through physical discomfort had power beyond imagination. He believed that when we offer even slight pain or discomfort while praying, it becomes like incense rising to heaven, caught by angels and presented before the throne of God. So how can you actually put this into practice? We choose 1 or 2 days during Holy Week. Holy Thursday and Good Friday are especially powerful. Find a quiet, private place. Hold your rosary. Then either kneel or stand with your arms stretched out. Begin praying the sorrowful mysteries, and as you reflect on each one, Jesus in the garden, his scourging, the crown of thorns, the carrying of the cross, and finally, the crucifixion, let yourself be there. You feel what he felt. Offer your physical discomfort, your tired arms, your aching knees, your emotional weight, and say, Jesus, I unite my suffering with yours. Through your precious blood, purify my home. Say it after each decade. Speak it with faith. This simple yet sacrificial prayer has been known to bring peace to homes, to heal emotional wounds, and to push back darkness that tries to cling to families. Can you see now how your prayer life might be missing this depth? What would change in your relationship with God if you began to pray like this, not just with your voice, but with your whole being? When was the last time you truly joined Christ on the road to Calvary, not just watched from the sidelines? These aren't just rituals, they are acts of spiritual warfare, acts of love, and acts of deep healing. So what's the lesson here? The Rosary isn't a necklace. It's not just a Catholic symbol or a tradition. It's a weapon. And during Holy Week, it becomes even more powerful when used with bodily sacrifice. Padre Pio didn't warn us to scare us, he warned us because he knew how much we would need this in today's chaotic, spiritually confused world. If you want to invite peace, healing, and God's protective presence into your home, start here. Offer your comfort, just a little. Offer your heart. Offer your suffering. And through this sacred practice, may you discover the strength, intimacy, and transformation that come from walking with Christ in his passion. Let this Holy Week be different. Let it be holy. Let it be real. 2. Assign specific intentions to each mystery. During Holy Week, a time soaked in divine mercy and heavenly mystery, Padre Pio, a beloved saint known for his deep intimacy with Jesus, gave us some powerful advice on how to truly live our rosary, not just recite it. And friend, this isn't just another reminder to pray more. This is a warning, a wake-up call to the soul. According to Padre Pio, simply rattling off the prayers without purpose or heart is like shooting arrows into the dark. You may mean well, but they'll never hit the mark. He noticed that many of us, though devoted, treat the rosary like a routine. But during Holy Week, the most sacred time in our faith calendar, we're invited into something much deeper, more personal, and yes, even more powerful. So he urged us to assign specific intentions to each mystery of the Rosary, especially the sorrowful mysteries, to truly tap into the grace and healing available to us in this holy season. And let me ask you, when was the last time you really paused and asked yourself, what am I actually praying for? What am I truly placing in God's hands? Let's walk through what Padre Pio recommended together. For the first sorrowful mystery, the agony in the garden, he said to offer it for your inner healing. Picture Jesus in Gethsemane, sweating blood out of sheer anguish. He saw every wound in your heart, every scar that no one else knows about. This mystery is your moment to ask Jesus to cleanse your emotional and psychological wounds with his sacred blood. Maybe you've been carrying anxiety, trauma, shame, or sadness. This is the place to surrender it. Say it out loud in this mystery. I offer my prayer for my healing emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You're not alone in that garden. Jesus knelt down for you. The second mystery, the scourging at the pillar, Padre Pio said to offer for your family members. Every lash Jesus endured, he suggested, can be a prayer for your loved ones who are struggling. And let's be honest, every family carries its burdens. Maybe someone you love is battling addiction, broken relationships, or doubt. Maybe you don't even talk anymore. But God sees, God knows. This mystery becomes a bridge between your heart and theirs. You can say, Lord, with each lash, I offer this for my brother, my daughter, my husband. Free them, protect them, heal them. It's one of the most powerful prayers you can offer for someone you love. Now, the third mystery, the crowning with thorns, is to be offered for mental protection. Padre Pio knew the spiritual battlefield starts in the mind. How often do you find yourself under attack from fear, envy, comparison, or lies whispered into your thoughts? This is the moment to ask for a divine shield over your mind. Jesus, you endured mockery and piercing pain in silence. Help me endure the inner noise, the self-doubt, the spiritual oppression. Doesn't that strike you? That God, through the thorns, wants to protect your peace. Then comes the fourth sorrowful mystery, Jesus carrying the cross. Padre Pio advised to offer this one for your material struggles. Whether it's finances, work pressure, or just trying to make ends meet, this is where your suffering and Jesus' journey collide. Each step he took under the crushing weight of the cross is a step he takes with you. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by debt, uncertainty, or fear of the future. This is where you say, Jesus, walk with me. Help me carry this. Because you were never meant to carry it alone. And finally, the fifth sorrowful mystery, the crucifixion. This is the moment to offer everything for your spiritual conversion and eternal salvation. No halfway faith, no holding back. This is full surrender. Padre Pio, with his stigmata and deep union with Christ, understood that true prayer happens when the soul is naked before God. This mystery is your altar. You're invited to lay your entire life on it. Lord, I give you my heart, my habits, my fears, my sin. Save me, change me. And with that kind of surrender, we open ourselves to seeing signs from God, little confirmations that heaven is moving in our favor. Now, here's how you bring all of this into your daily prayer life. Before each mystery, speak your intention aloud. Make it real. Make it personal. Say something like, in this mystery, I offer my prayer for my son who's battling depression, or I offer this for clarity in my job search. Then at the end of each decade, close with this powerful phrase, Virgin Mary, intercede for this cause as you did at Cana. Because if she could ask Jesus to turn water into wine at a wedding, imagine what she can do for your wounded heart, your broken home, or your silent cries. So let me ask you, what intentions will you bring to your rosary this Holy Week? What healing do you need? Who do you want to lift up? What burden are you finally ready to stop carrying alone? The Rosary isn't just a repetition, it's a rhythm of mercy, a weapon of light, and as Padre Pio taught, a key to unlocking miracles when offered with precision and faith. This week, don't just pray it, live it. Trust that your voice is heard, your prayer has power, and that you already rest in the heart of the Father. If you've watched this far, you're already taking powerful steps to protect your soul and deepen your spiritual journey this Holy Week. Comment below with Rosary power to affirm your commitment to these life-saving practices Padre Pio warned us about. Don't click away, there's still more divine wisdom ahead that could change your spiritual life forever. Stay until the end to discover how to guard your soul and grow closer to God through the Rosary. 3. Pray aloud in the home with blessed objects. In these trying times when so many feel overwhelmed, lost, or under invisible pressure, the wisdom of Padre Pio stands like a lighthouse in a storm, calm, constant, and divinely guided. One of the most powerful pieces of advice from Padre Pio, often overlooked in our busy world, is the act of praying the Rosary aloud in the home during Holy Week. And not just in silence or in haste, but intentionally, with sacred purpose. He warned that spiritual dangers creep into our lives subtly through unresolved anger, constant anxiety, addiction to social media, material worries, or even the chaos of broken relationships. These are the spiritual open doors he spoke about, where negativity finds its way in. Padre Pio, who spent countless hours in spiritual battle and bore the stigmata of Christ, offered a solution as ancient as it is powerful: vocal prayer combined with blessed objects. He emphasized that when we pray the Rosary aloud, especially during Holy Week, and do so in the presence of a blessed candle and a consecrated item, be it a crucifix, a statue of the Virgin Mary, or a Saint Benedict medal, we create what he called a spiritual firewall. Evil does not just dislike these actions, it fears them. He said, the Rosary is the weapon for these times. The teachings of Padre Pio show us that such a practice is not mere ritual, it is divine resistance against darkness. Just as soldiers wear armor in battle, we too must spiritually clothe our homes with faith, light, and voice. To live out this sacred advice from Padre Pio, choose 3 evenings during Holy Week, perhaps Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday moments when life usually begins to quiet. Light a blessed candle, place your sacred object at the center of your home, gather your loved ones or even sit alone if needed, and pray the Rosary aloud. This act, though simple, echoes into the spiritual realm like thunder. It affirms your household's allegiance to Christ and creates a spiritual dome of peace. Padre Pio shared that entire families, some suffering from repeated illness, financial instability, or emotional chaos, I saw radical change after consistently applying this practice. This is not just a religious gesture, it is divine strategy. It's how we fight unseen battles and declare who we stand with. As you conclude the Rosary, open your heart and proclaim with faith, "In this home Jesus reigns. Here peace dwells, no evil shall enter." Then read Psalm 91 aloud, for it says, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge." Now, in our modern world filled with distractions, we often search endlessly online for solutions on how to attract money, how to reduce stress, how to overcome hardship. But here lies an eternal truth: when a home is spiritually aligned, blessings flow more freely, even in finances. This doesn't mean money rains down from the sky. It means clarity comes, decisions become wiser, waste is reduced, and grace fills the gaps. The advice from Padre Pio teaches us that spiritual wellness opens the doors for overall wellness. That's why he often said, "Pray, hope, and don't worry." Worry is useless. This trust allows space for miracles. When we set our homes in order spiritually, peace becomes the atmosphere, not just a feeling. And in that peace, good decisions are made, hearts are healed, and yes, even financial breakthroughs can occur. The signs from God often arrive in quiet moments, in the flicker of a candle, the trembling voice of a prayer, or the deep exhale after saying a full rosary. These are not coincidences, they are spiritual signals. And Padre Pio was a master of recognizing them. Let us not underestimate this spiritual discipline, for the devil's greatest success today is convincing us that we are too busy or too tired to pray. But in truth, prayer is the fuel that sustains the soul. If we can dedicate hours to screens, surely we can give 20 minutes to eternity. It's through the teachings of Padre Pio that we learn how practical holiness truly is. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to begin. Make space in your home for heaven to dwell. Light the candle, raise your voice, and let your home become a sanctuary where heaven touches earth. Because in a world full of noise and confusion, the whisper of a rosary prayed aloud may be the most powerful sound of all. Number 3, invitation and challenge. Invitation and challenge. This is not just a gentle suggestion, it's a divine moment of decision. Are you ready to take your prayer life beyond the surface, beyond the routine, and into the depths where real spiritual change happens? You've now received more than information. You've been given a map to transformation, a spiritual blueprint handed down by Padre Pio, a man who bore Christ's wounds and confronted darkness head-on with the rosary clenched in his trembling hands. If you've been going through the motions, praying without passion, or feeling like your words bounce off the ceiling, this is your wake-up call. Padre Pio once warned us that mere prayer isn't enough, and it's true, because in today's chaotic world, distraction is louder than devotion, and comfort often overshadows commitment. So now, with this challenge before you, you must choose: stay as you are or begin again with purpose. Let this Holy Week not pass like any other. Let it be the turning point you've longed for, the moment heaven begins to touch your home. You may be wrestling with hidden addictions, chronic illness, conflict in your family, or a sense of emptiness that even prayer hasn't filled, and perhaps, until now, you've wondered why breakthrough hasn't come. But listen closely. It's not that you're not praying, it's that you may not be praying with the focus and depth your soul is crying out for. And that's why these 3 practices from Padre Pio are more than symbolic rituals, they are weapons of spiritual precision. When you kneel and extend your arms like a cross during the sorrowful mysteries, You are not just remembering Christ's sacrifice, you are participating in it, merging your suffering with His and invoking heaven's power in your present-day battles. Each mystery of the Rosary can become a holy transaction. You bring your intention, your sorrow, your deep longing, and in return you receive grace. Whether it's a loved one needing salvation, a financial chain that needs breaking, or a generational wound begging for healing, offer it during each decade like an act of trust placed into Mary's hands. And do this not in silence or secrecy, but out loud, boldly, with a lit candle casting light into the corners of your home. Let that flame be more than decoration. Let it be a sign that Christ is welcome here, that this house belongs to God. Place a crucifix or sacred image at the center and make this space a sanctuary. As you close with Psalm 91, you're not just reading words, you're declaring spiritual authority, inviting angels to encamp around you, and rejecting every lie the enemy has spoken over your home. This is not superstition. This is not a routine. This is spiritual war, and you are being armed by a saint who walked through fire and bore witness to countless miracles. When Padre Pio said, "If we truly understood the value of a single properly prayed rosary, we would weep with joy," he meant it. Heaven moves when faith meets obedience. So I ask you, will you rise to the challenge? Not everyone will. Some will hear this and scroll on. But not you. Because if you're still listening, it means you've been called to more. You've been called to rise as a prayer warrior, an intercessor, a carrier of light in a world often shrouded in spiritual fog. So here is your challenge for the next 7 days until Easter Sunday. Live out these practices. On at least 3 days, pray the sorrowful mysteries either on your knees or with your arms stretched wide in the shape of the cross. Let your body preach a silent sermon of surrender. For each mystery, bring one specific, urgent intention. Speak it aloud. Offer it as if heaven is leaning in to hear your voice, because it is. On 3 evenings, gather your household, light a blessed candle, hold your rosary, and pray together. End those sessions by proclaiming Psalm 91 aloud, and visualize your home becoming a fortress of peace. Expect opposition, it will come. You may feel tired, forgetful, or suddenly too busy. That is not coincidence, it's spiritual resistance. But remember Padre Pio's wisdom. Prayer offered with perseverance demolishes walls the world once declared impenetrable. Push through. Even if you feel nothing at first, don't be fooled. The most powerful seeds are planted in silence. Your prayers are moving unseen things, and soon enough you'll see the fruit: peace in your mind, harmony in your family, healing where there was hurt, and hope where there was despair. If this challenge resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Declare your commitment by saying aloud, "I accept the Rosary Challenge." Make it a covenant between you and heaven. And then invite 3 others to do the same. Send this to someone who's been struggling, who needs spiritual fire in their life. Imagine not in theory, but in reality the impact of thousands across the world praying with united hearts, candles lit, rosaries raised, voices echoing through spiritual realms. That's how breakthroughs come. That's how revival begins. Not in stadiums, but in living rooms. Not with noise, but with sacred intention. Begin now. Don't wait for the perfect time. Holy Week isn't just a memory of the past, it's a present reality unfolding right now. The heavens are already stirring. Let your home be part of this movement. Light the candle. Pick up the rosary. Say the first prayer. And prepare, because this might just be the most spiritually alive week of your life. So I ask you now, not as a voice behind a screen, but as a fellow traveler on this journey, are you ready to respond? In a world shaken by fear and uncertainty, don't just watch prophecy unfold, prepare your soul. Receive the grace of God today with an open, humble heart. Not tomorrow. Not when it's convenient. Now. Because grace delayed is often peace denied. Before you go, comment below, Lord, I open my heart to your mercy. Let that be your first act of surrender. And tell me, do you believe your country is among those foretold? Let's talk about it in the comments. Share this video with someone who needs to hear the truth, and subscribe for more spiritual insight and preparation from the journey of wisdom. You're not powerless. You're being called. Don't just survive these times, rise in them.